Hey guys, day 337 I think we're on. So close and yet so far with the roof. I said it would take a big rain, and yesterday we had nearly 24 hours of it. There wasn't any one big period where it was driving, it was just a real consistent soaking. By early evening, the leaks had stopped. It was beautiful. I was back there working for hours. I finished up a video project. You can check that out on Cigar Obsession. I did a humidor review and did a lot of new video techniques and used the contraption I made. Came out beautifully. And I'm back there finishing it up. This is about, 10, 11 at night. And it's like somebody turned on the faucet behind me. I'm looking around going, what the hell is that? It's pouring in through one of the window panes, right down the glass. I mean, just splattering all over on the floor. So I grab a towel real quick, I stick it under there, and then it starts dripping and calms down a bit, and it drips for a good hour, and then it stops. I mean, if I hadn't have been back there, I wouldn't have known about it. It was just complete coincidence that I was working back there at the time it opened up. So I emailed the roofing guy. I'm thinking either something came loose. He said that he did the strip. I haven't been up there to really inspect it because it's been raining. But that might be part of the problem too. It has been raining right after he did the repair. So something may not have stuck right. I don't know. But now, this morning, by the time I went to bed late last night, everything was still off. All right? The window had stopped dripping. The other stuff had still not been dripping. I thought it was, okay, no big deal. Something just let loose near the window, and that was that. No. This morning, everything is back on. All of them are dripping like mad from the ceiling. So I think what happened was, I'm going to go this way today. I'm going to do a long walk today. It's freaking cold out. It's like upper 40s right now, and I'm in my shorts and summer shirt here. I don't care. I just need to clear my head from this. But this morning, they're all going like crazy, and there's even one that's going along a seam that hadn't been going in a long time. So I think whatever opened up that caused that window leak has just backed up now into the entire ceiling again. But it's definitely a different spot. He's definitely in the right area. It's absolutely along that edge. I asked him, did you just do that spot or did you do the whole thing? I was really hoping he would say, oh, I just did that one spot. I'd say, oh, okay, well, obviously we need to do the whole thing. But no, he said he went all the way across. So maybe something in that, and this is on the opposite side of the room. This isn't even close to the other area. So, maybe something new opened up in that other corner over the window and is now traveling back down the other way. Because we know that the roof will store the water and just collect it in the middle, and that's why everything drips there. It doesn't really matter where it comes in. So my thinking is something came loose, or he missed a spot. Something fairly simple. I know that, and it's got to be something on that edge because it's brand new since he touched it, and his repair fixed the other stuff, the original leaks. So close. I was just ecstatic last night. I mean, I was in there, I cleaned a bunch of stuff out, I got tons of space. Luckily I hadn't picked up the towels yet though. Tell you what, I'm glad I got that video project off my plate. Not because it was anything bad, it was actually a lot of fun to do and a great product, but it just took me so long to figure out exactly what I wanted to do and then how to do it, which took some time. But I did figure out a lot. This was the prototype. I mean, this was not really the total finished product for what I have in mind. The overall look is. But there are a lot of little things that most people won't notice that I'm going to change for the next one I do. Make it a lot easier on myself. But it just took so long to figure out exactly what I wanted to do, so I put it off. And put it off. It really came out about 2 weeks later than I wanted it to. I wasn't on a timeline or anything. I've had it for a couple months. I just wanted to get it out of the way. You know, it was just sitting there staring at me. Make my video, make my video. And I felt like I was procrastinating with it just because I had to wait until I knew what I wanted to do with it. So I don't remember if I mentioned this. I think I did. Tomorrow, Friday, is a chili cook-off being held. Yeah, I mentioned it because I mentioned about what kind of contest it is. Tomorrow is a contest, and I'm so screwed up on my days that last night I thought today was Friday. So went to Walmart at like 1 in the morning and got all the ingredients and everything. I figured out exactly what I'm going to do. I'm not going to go crazy, but I am going to put some real good heat in it. And I'm doing basically my world's best Walmart red chili recipe that I did on Guy's stuff, I don't know, a year or two ago. I think it's about a year ago. But that just comes out beautiful. I love that recipe. It's just meat, sauce, and flavor. That's it. Real simple, but real complex in the flavors, and it's super smooth. And I'm just going to mix it up a little bit, put some extra kick in it, just because it's for competition, you know. But it's not going to, you know, make them cry. Well, it might make some cry. It's not going to make them not taste the next one they try. So we'll see how that goes. Maybe it wasn't such a smart idea to go out like this. It didn't feel that cold coming out of the neighborhood, but my fingertips and my toes are quite numb right now. Like, actually numb. Brr. So my spring schedule's already filling up very quickly. Saturday is my first on-location live show, and I have a little anxiety about it, not because of doing the show. Obviously, I don't have a fear of public speaking or anything, but there is a great pressure to actually put the show on. I've already had one case where I had equipment failure right before the show and had to resort to backup stuff. And now going live at a remote location, I mean, there's a whole bunch of variables that are out of my control and I don't even know about. I've done as much research as I can besides taking all my stuff down there and doing a test broadcast, which is frankly a major pain in the butt. It would be 3 to 4 hours of my time. You know, I just hope everything goes okay. I'm getting down there about an hour ahead of time, so I need to be fully set up. I'm giving myself plenty of time to work through any problems that I will encounter. I know there will be something that pops up. Or it could go completely smoothly, and I'll have time to kick back before the show. I don't know. We'll see, though. And then Tuesday, I'm speaking again at a professional group meeting in Tampa. And I just booked a teaching session today for some Photoshop work to another local photographer, just to go through some more advanced editing and retouching techniques. I booked my next live guest for the show after this, and that won't be announced until just after Saturday's airs. So, yep, got a lot of cool stuff lined up. It's going to be a busy, busy year. That is for sure. I just passed a guy on the sidewalk here, and he's dressed in a big hat and a big coat and gloves. He's got an umbrella, big pants, boots, all bundled up like he's in a blizzard. And I don't blame him. He passes me. He looks at me and goes, "You must be from up north." I said, "Yep." Well, it's about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Need to think about some breakfast slash lunch here. I never eat in the morning. I'm just not hungry. I know it's better for your body to be eating earlier in the day versus later, but I've never been hungry in the morning. Even as a kid, I never liked breakfast. I'm just not hungry. Yeah, just the way it goes. Anyway, just had another client call, or I should say, suspect client. Not a prospect, because I know they're not going to call back. It was a referral from another photographer for a commercial shoot. And this is one of the cases where it's fairly, either this happens when it's a new company or when it's a company that's new to professional photography. It's just sticker shock. They have no idea what the range of photography costs is. And I could tell this guy was thinking it was a tenth of what I quoted him. And for new clients, I usually do a little lowball to kind of ease it in. I can tell when I talk to somebody what their experience level is by what they need the photos for, or how they describe what they need. I know if it's a new marketing person, that kind of thing. So I could tell they were new. Shot him a quote, which I was still comfortable with, but not exactly very profitable. But still, it's a new contact, so it's worth opening the door and seeing what happens. And they were like, they couldn't get off the phone fast enough. Every excuse in the book. Oh, I see you're pretty far away from us. Okay, yeah, I tried to explain more about how the process worked and what they would get. And, okay, thanks, bye. Okay. That's okay. They'll find some sucker to do the job at a tenth of the cost, and they'll get some really crappy pictures back, and it'll probably take a month or two for him to happen. Or they could just come to a pro like me. There's others in the area that do the same thing and have their pictures in a day and be merry on their way making money with them. But they'll have to learn, and sometimes they call back. I have had a number of clients over the years, not a lot, but some, that say they went through that same experience and they say, we learned our lesson. Here you go. I've even had a couple start off with me and through the process, multiple shoots, feel that I'm too expensive, which is really ridiculous if you know what I charge for what I do. And then they go to somebody else and then they come back. It doesn't happen often, because most of them will never swallow their pride and let that happen. They'll go to somebody else. And sometimes I get the feedback, because it's a close-knit group of shooters here in the Tampa area. There's a lot of us, but there are very few of us that do any kind of commercial work, at least that do it on a professional level. I can count them on one hand that I would ever recommend to or that I refer out to. There's some stuff that I don't do, like very large things, any kind of vehicles or large equipment. I got a couple buddies that have dedicated warehouse-sized studios, and they have big cycloramas, so they can handle really big stuff like that. I shoot them over there. So there's some of us that do really specialize in stuff, and I have no problem with referring out. Like today, it was a referral back to me. So it just goes around in circles. We all have our specialties, and we all get a feeling for what we're all really good at. And we know that gets the client the best results. There's no point in trying to stretch yourself and do something that you're not going to do as well as somebody else, and then just have somebody be not happy with the results. So it's always better to hone in on what you love, what you do well.
Well, I'm up here now taking a real close look for the first time at what he did, and there are definitely issues here in the corner. Looks like some water might have burrowed its way right through the sealer here. I think the main problem was that there just wasn't enough dry time. He was, putting this stuff on 12 hours before it rained. It's still not even dry now. It's completely gooey. But you can see there's just spots. I can see right through the decking there, and that big hole there. And this is an overlap of the material he did, and it's open. So water was definitely running right in there. That's probably what caused everything that happened. But he's just gonna have to go through and redo sections here. But the main thing is it's got to dry out, because this material needs a couple days to set up, and it just hasn't had time. But everything down there, which was the main problem, that all held. That's doing really well. So I think this is just the issue here, this section right here, and that probably is what was the whole problem yesterday, last night. So I think it should be an easy fix. I'm going to snap a picture right here for him and send that along. Alright, wrapping this day up, I'm about to start cooking my chili, and I decided to do a standard Texas red chili, and I am going to kick the heat up a little bit. Now this is not an HLO video, you're not going to see this or anything, but I've already done the standard deviation of this on Cigar Obsession under Guy Stuff, probably a year or two ago. So if you're interested in seeing what that's like, you can watch me make it there. But it's pretty simple, and while it's not necessarily an HLO video, there's nothing in it that's really unhealthy. The beef itself is very lean, and I will be trimming this up a little bit more and cutting these into smaller chunks. And it's just inexpensive stew meat. You don't need anything fancy for chili, because this is going to cook for about 4 hours. Believe me, it melts in your mouth when it's done. Got some beef broth, some low sodium chicken broth, whole bunch of spices, and this is where you just can customize it any which way you want. And I'm just going to do a mix of cayenne. I've got 2 hot sauces here. This is the kind that has the real lingering heat, and then this is the just insane food additive. I'm only going to do a couple drops of this, but I do want to really kick it up. And some chili powder, and I've got some duplicate bottles here I'm just going to use up. And this gives the base flavor, but there's no heat, so this gives a nice taste. Onion powder, cumin, garlic powder. I've got a hot Mexican chili powder here, which is a very different taste from the standard, but again, not too hot, but a really good flavor. And I've got some heat and texture. I've got some Mexican tomato paste, or tomato sauce. I also have a big can of regular tomato sauce for the body. I've got a whole can of chipotles that I'm going to chop up, and that's in an adobo sauce, and that's quite warm. Excellent texture and flavor out of those. Some more cumin here. So yeah, it's really simple. And other than that, I mean, I'm going to put in some brown sugar for a little bit of sweetness, some vegetable oil to help brown up the meat, and it's just stages of adding ingredients and simmering and waiting. It's going to take me about 4 hours total of prep and cooking, so I'm going to get started. It's about 5:30 now, so be ready by the time I'm ready to crash tonight, and it'll just heat up in the crock pot for the morning and be good for the judges. Still haven't decided if I'm going to go yet. I might, just for at least one lunch period, see what it's like. Oh, and I've got cornstarch here that I use for thickener. Alright, so that's it. See you tomorrow.